Okay, I'm probably gonna get screeched at for this one, but honestly, it just kinda needs to be said. It feels like my content is just a never-ending stream of replies and responses now. I started with Earth 2, I moved on to Planet IX. From Planet IX, I covered Crowd 1, I think. From Crowd 1, I found Mars Genesis. And today, I nearly covered a video response from one of the investors, I guess, in Earth 2, who was really angry about what I said. The thing is, I don't really like to tackle stuff that way. A response to a response to a response is just really tiring for everyone involved, and rather than focus on the chain of disease symptoms, we need to look at the actual source. Enter NFTs. NFTs, also known as non-fungible tokens, are the new craze. They really are. It's a fad. And I won't bore everyone with a uselessly complex definition of how they work on a technical level, other than to say that there is a digital token tied to the unalterable blockchain, usually the ERC20 network, in this case, also known as Ethereum, which is intended to guarantee perpetual chain of custody or ownership verification. Basically, NFTs are often being used as a way to track who owns what in the digital space. Now, what comes to mind when I say a new way to track forever who owns what? That's right. The internet and artwork. Not just artwork, by the way, to be honest, but NFT paired artwork is effectively what kicked all of this into overdrive in the more recent past. NFTs are most prominently being used to sell digital artwork and track proof of ownership. There's an artist named Beeple who has become wildly successful doing exactly that, and his blockchain-tied portfolio pieces have gone, I think, as high as $69 million for a single piece of artwork at auction. Now, Beeple is actually an incredibly interesting artist who has been working for a very long time to get to this point. His work is absolutely amazing. He's offered a great deal of it to the public for free, I believe, free of charge that is, for north of a decade at least, and his success is not some random act of digital luck. It's the culmination of hard work, dedication, years and years of dedication, and above all else, innovation. I am happy for this man because his work deserves to be recognized. I may think that NFTs as a whole right now are actually really, really stupid, but that doesn't mean the concept isn't valid and the origins aren't actually positive or extremely interesting. However, and I guess you could say this is where we actually start the video, NFTs have become an absolute fucking joke, void of the most important characteristics that the masses currently rave about, as if they have them, and saddest of all, they are on the cusp of becoming a marketing buzzword scam more than anything else because somehow, some way, when you say, here's this stupid-ass concept, but it's an NFT, people are willing to just, throw money at you. This is the point where I have to put a disclaimer about subjectivity. I don't see the point of an NFT, personally, because I can just right-click your multi-million-dollar digital image, select download or copy, and then I have it too. I don't have the blockchain verification to back it up that I'm the original owner, but I have an indistinguishably perfect copy of that image or video or whatever it is, and I didn't have to pay a thing. The entire NFT craze is just so you can say, I own that thing, like I'm the real owner, and then prove it to a group of people that care. That's fine, and it's not anything new. People do that with useless physical items all the time. I have this thing from this sports player, and it's the only one, and you want it too, so I sell it to you for a bunch of money, yada yada. Yes, fine, that's okay, that's great, but that physical object has an actual tangible presence. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that all digital products are de facto inferior. I'm just saying that when you are selling something that can be infinitely, perfectly replicated and duplicated by anyone with a smartphone at any time, it starts to change things a little bit. Even still, if the current NFT craze was just a tidal wave of I have bragging rights because I own this thing and there will be proof of that forever type deal, I really wouldn't have an issue, but it isn't. When you actually dig into the vast majority of NFT offerings, they are being executed and provided by startups. This is a rapidly evolving service market where people are generating NFTs for everything they can think of and then claiming permanence of ownership in exchange for money. Well, that shouldn't matter at all if proof of ownership is actually preserved on the blockchain, but the reality is, even for a lot of the most famous NFTs, everything links back to the company servers of whatever startup you happen to choose who sells NFT minting or creation services. That's not to say that they all have to be this way, and there are ways to actually achieve the level of permanence that is advertised and widely accepted as being true. However, for the vast majority, that won't be the case, and they will be buying, selling, or trading NFTs that might completely break and be absolutely worthless as soon as the startup, specifically whichever one you chose, company goes bust. I'm not an expert on blockchain technology, crypto, NFTs, any of it, but here's a thread from a Twitter user named Jaunty which details the situation very, very well. From what I can tell, it's all accurate. And again, this is not indicative of every single NFT, rather an indication that the wider consumer market of and for them is actually engaging in something where their item could really disappear, be lost, or break in some capacity, most importantly, rendering the sole and singular point of the NFT almost completely void. So why does this matter? Most NFTs hinge on unverified, completely unpredictable, opportunistic startup companies, and people are suddenly attaching real-world currency valuations in the thousands, tens of thousands, even millions to tens of millions to them, which is not great, but even better because literally anyone can now just say, here's a thing, and now it's an NFT. Buy it from me. And people do it. The best example, and I'll try not to rehash everything, but this was literally my previous video, so I know some of it is the same stuff. The best example I have is Mars Genesis, which is a group of unknown people that decided, okay, let's make a digital copy of Mars, or just designate sections of Mars, and now they're NFTs, and we're going to sell them. That's literally the project. The rabbit hole I've been going down this past week revolves around NFT grids of planets. And Earth 2, the earliest one I looked at, which appears to be a Ponzi scheme, by the way, is not actually utilizing NFT functionality right now, but Planet IX, the next one of these digital real estate projects I looked at, is. Which means they basically just said, okay, we're going to take a satellite map of Earth, put a hexagon grid on it, make each tile its own NFT, and then have people buy and trade them. I could take right now every single one of my videos and turn each one into its own NFT. I could then sell them to people, or whoever would want them, but as soon as the company I used disappeared, the startup company, like the one that I chose to mint all of my NFTs, and most of these opportunistic startups who offer the service will disappear sooner rather than later, the NFTs would be broken, which completely undermines what appears to be the main point of an NFT. I can just claim a celestial body like Mars or Jupiter and start selling digital map coordinates of it. Genuinely, I could take and create an NFT of the spot on Jupiter and sell it, and one of these idiots would buy it. Someone would do it, I swear. They would get it, brag about it, spend a stupid amount of money on it in the process, and then the NFT would just break at some point in the future, and they don't actually own anything. Just a broken piece of code that redirects nowhere, originally pretending to give ownership of the spot on Jupiter. It's insane. I keep seeing the same claims in defense of NFT artwork. Make art, mint the art, sell the art, and receive royalties for the art, because this somehow solves the internet artistic royalty conundrum that's been around for a very long time. And then it's permanent, forever, unhackable, instant transfer, mega money, to the moon, holy shit, digital orgasm, blah, blah, blah. But how? Just because you sold something as an NFT through a marketplace or platform that has absolutely no verifiable longevity, how does that mean that you can set and enforce royalties? Unless the entirety of all internet artistic marketplace traffic suddenly feeds through that one platform, the one that you chose and used, and it will continue that way forever, even then it wouldn't do what people are claiming in terms of royalties and ownership. It's not possible. How could you ever expect that just because the art or item, whatever it is these days, is now tied to some form of NFT, it will suddenly fulfill all of these crazy benchmarks? There's also this, and maybe I have it wrong, actually, by the way, correct me down below if that's true. There's this absurd idea that NFT widespread adoption or some similar kind of function will end plagiarism. What? How? There are hundreds, probably thousands of examples already where someone just takes quality artwork from someone else and then sells it as if they are the artist as an NFT. That's not just plagiarism, that's worse, because the ensuing issues of dealing with who owns it and how the money factors in is now infinitely more complex in a world where it's already so complex it hardly even gets handled to begin with. If the person who mints the NFT or originally creates it gets acknowledged on the blockchain as the owner of that artwork, well, the whole thing is kind of fucked, isn't it? Either it's flawed and that permanence means absolutely nothing. The permanence that people expect of an NFT is either not real and the whole thing's a lie, or it isn't flawed, and you basically can't even unfuck the situation at all outside of what? Widespread public sentiment? You would have to blow the issue up so big from a PR perspective that the majority of people relevant to the situation knew this was stolen and then collectively agreed to disregard the permanent proof of ownership. But that's not possible if you think of a wider digital retail consumer market. It's not even possible once, hardly, let alone millions of times, which would be inevitable the larger the trend grows. If you can't verify the authenticity of ownership perfectly every single time, permanence of ownership post-sale as a result of that minting process becomes an issue. Hopefully we can all see the problem here. I won't dive into the secondary but very real issue with NFTs and crypto as a whole for that matter, which is that it's absolutely devastating for the environment and it's making graphics cards a pain in the ass to get, as well as wreaking havoc on retail market products and the electronic space at large. But the things I've discussed already put me in a kind of strange mindset. NFTs on a fundamental level seem cool, but if you are claiming they are totally permanent in their current form, most of them aren't and will likely be broken very soon. If you are claiming they are secure, totally secure, they're not, and these artistic marketplaces are prone to account theft like any other website out there on the entire internet. If you say that they will somehow usher in a new world of royalty accountability or some kind of profit accountability or revenue, whatever it is, I ask, how? And if we are claiming, if anyone out there is claiming that this is a way to protect artists, my answer is, in what world does permanent consequences for plagiaristic minting, which will happen, solve any problem? As it stands, NFTs in their current form, for the most part, are commercially exploitable, insecure, and damaging to the planet. They offer a mechanism to monetize things that just shouldn't be monetized in this way at this point in time, like the surface of Mars, and they allow for liars and bad faith actors to thrive in their wake, whether that be plagiaristic minting or flat out scamming. I know that this video will get backlash. Anything criticizing crypto or NFTs lately inevitably does. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. There's a rabid base of people that just want to attack anything that disagrees with the fact that they're going to change the entire world and everything about them is always awesome, right? It's actually really tiring. But all I can say until improvements are made is just enough with the NFTs. Like, just enough. Enough of them. Obviously, that statement by itself won't do anything. So here, buy this video and Jupiter from me. Yeah, I'll just throw Jupiter in there too. They're both NFTs, and I own them according to the NFT. The links are down below in the description. They're not, but the sad thing is they could be. I could probably get that done within the next few hours. But that's it. There are some links down below, like Odyssey, spelled Odyssee, which is a YouTube platform alternative, and it's very rewarding to its creators, so check my stuff there. There's locals, $5 a month to support the channel. Maybe I will sell every single one of my videos as an NFT if there would be any interest. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. It's such a ridiculous time that we live in. It's almost like the world wants there to be more scammers and people just throw money at everything. It's like when you have a headache and you take a huge handful of aspirin and say, open your mouth and put your tongue out, and you just huck the handful of aspirin at the person. Like, whatever sticks is the right dosage. It's just ridiculous. There's merch down below, another YouTuber to check out, etc., but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching and have a nice night.